All right, let's dive in. Today, we're heading back in time, way back, to Boston, 1765. This was a city right on the edge, basically a powder keg just waiting for a spark. And that spark? Well, it was about to ignite a revolution.
So can you just imagine that? The damp fog, the cobblestones, the sound of an angry mob? I mean, this was a time of serious unrest. It was a rebellion just bubbling under the surface, one that would eventually cost King George III his American colonies.
And for centuries, all we had to go on were these faded sketches. But now, with a little help from some pretty advanced AI, we can actually bring these scenes to life. It's like we can literally step inside and walk the same streets they did back in the 18th century.
So, where do we start our little tour? Right here at the harbor, which was the absolute heart of Boston's commerce. We're standing on what was called Long Wharf. And you gotta understand, this thing was an incredible feat of engineering for the time. It stretched almost half a mile out into the deep water. And if you were standing there, what would you see? Well, you'd see a forest of masts, just like you would in the big ports of Amsterdam or Liverpool. But the smell, wow, that's what would hit you first. It's this really pungent mix of salty sea air, rotting fish, wet timber, and that sharp scent of tar they used to seal the ships. That, right there, is the raw smell of commerce.
Okay, but underneath all this busy, thriving commerce, something else is going on. A lot of tension is simmering just below the surface. See, the British government, led by Prime Minister George Grenville, had just dropped the hated Stamp Act on them. Now, what made this tax so infuriating? It wasn't just another tax on trade. No, this was a direct tax on the colony's internal business. We're talking everything from legal documents to newspapers. And that one policy, well, it planted the seeds for the entire revolution.
And this really shows you the two sides of the coin here. On one hand, you've got these massive fortunes being made from global trade. Ships are coming and going, connecting Boston to the world. But on the other hand, the very people making it all happen, the merchants, the longshoremen on the docks, they see their entire way of life being threatened by taxes they had absolutely no say in. You can just feel the anger starting to boil over.
So let's step away from the docks for a minute. That anger, it doesn't just stay at the harbor. It spills out into the city's dense, narrow streets. And believe me, you'd have to watch your step. It's dark, the ground is slick with mud, and it's absolutely choked with horse manure and all kinds of other waste. And we end up here, at a place like the Green Dragon Tavern. This is kind of where commerce and conspiracy collide. You walk inside and the air is just thick with the smell of stale ale, unwashed bodies, and the smoke from dozens of clay pipes. It's crowded, it's loud, and it is absolutely buzzing with discontent.
And it's in places exactly like this one, where the real talk is happening. Colonists are packed in, debating the authority of these political figures all the way over in Britain. They'd toast guys like the Marquis of Rockingham, a reformist who actually got the Stamp Act repealed. But honestly, it was too little too late. The damage was done. And the leaders who came after, like the Duke of Grafton and eventually Lord North, they were going to have a real hard time containing the rebellion that was brewing in these very rooms.
All right, as we move deeper into the city, something else becomes crystal clear. We're talking about the huge social divide. Boston was, without a doubt, a city of extreme contrasts. And this comparison really hits it home. On one side, you've got these beautiful, elegant, Georgian-style brick mansions. That's where the wealthy elite who were loyal to the crown lived. And then, on the other side, you have these desperate, crowded, disease-ridden wooden slums. That's home for the working-class laborers. I mean, it's two completely different worlds, practically on top of each other in this same small city. And as if that wasn't enough, while you're walking these streets, there's another presence you just can't ignore. The bright red coats of the British military. To the people of Boston, this wasn't protection. This felt like an occupying army.
Yeah, this heavy-handed military presence is what really cranked up the heat. It turned the city from just being tense to being genuinely volatile. It was a tinderbox, and these soldiers, they were a constant source of friction.
You'd see them everywhere, standing guard at customs houses, patrolling the muddy streets, a constant, irritating reminder of the king's authority. And because of them, every little street brawl or argument in a tavern suddenly had the potential to explode into deadly violence. You could feel it, right? The entire city was just holding its breath. So when you put it all together, the taxes, the arguments in the taverns, the soldiers on the streets, the massive class divide, you realize it's all heading somewhere. All this turmoil, it was like a crucible, and in that fire, something totally new was being forged.
Because by the end of the decade, all this unrest was going to escalate past the point of no return.
Boston in the 1760s wasn't just some trading port. No, it was the Anvil, the very anvil upon which a new nation was about to be forged. You know, history has left us with thousands of these incredible images from cities all over the world, just waiting for us to bring them back to life. So, what do you think? Where should we go next? Let us know in the comments what city or which era you'd love to see us reconstruct. Thanks for joining us on this trip back in time.